right, perfect. Here we go. Welcome, everybody. And we are glad that you're joining us for E2E. Today is Thursday. And for the month of February, we decided Thursday is going to be accessible for everybody. Okay, so everybody is going to have access to the workshop and the Q&A of expert to experts. So it's 7 UK time, and we have so many people around the world. And if you are watching this live, please put down hashtag live that you're watching it live. If you are watching the recording, put hashtag recording. And we have a special guest, and you know that it's gonna be once again Rich Waterman. He was with us on Monday, and on Monday he gave incredible value. And he's an expert in creating wealth. He's an expert in creating emotional wealth, financial wealth, and time wealth. He has been among the youngest vice presidents of JP Morgan, one of the vice presidents of JP Morgan. And in his life, he has created enormous wealth. And now he's helping people how to create their own wealth. And I have the privilege of calling him my coach. And not only he's a coach, now in the course of these years, he has become also a friend. Because let me tell you one thing, coaching is building a relationship with the outcome of the success of your client. And truly, he has been doing this for several years with me. And now he has the chance also of sharing this with you. So I don't want to spend too much time talking. I want to welcome him, introduce him, and allow him to do this workshop. And then at the end of this workshop, we're going to have a Q&A session. And if you have any urgent question or any contribution you want to bring in while he is talking, just write it down, and then we'll make sure it pops up on the screen so everybody gets the value. Okay, so please give me drum bass. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, and give a big hand to Mr. Rich Waterman. And there we go. Hello, Rich.
Whoa, yes.
Glad to see you, Rich.
Lovely to see you, my friends. Thank you for such an amazing intro. I really appreciate it very much. So obviously had a really great time on Monday. Just sort of had a really good discussion with you about wealth mindset. So today what we're going to do is going to be the practical bit, so the implementation bit. And so this requires some work, and it's going to be good work though. And so as well as listening along to what I'm saying, just take the time live to, I'm going to give you time to write down answers and to interact with us. So post comments and thoughts. So we're going to make it a very interactive session, because me talking at you only has limited effectiveness. If we interact, then it's more of it's going to go into your unconscious brain. You're going to use more of the information. And then, as Moses said, right at the end, when we'll do a full Q&A, if you've got any more questions around it, we'll do it that way. If you're listening to it as a recording, then again, you'll have time throughout to do the answers. Pause the video if you need to. But I cannot emphasize enough, just sitting there and trying to take this in just intellectually will not work very well. So even if it's just the most simple and basic one-word answers, just do it for yourselves, and you will get the results that you want, or at least you'll start to go on that pathway to where you want to go. So we're going to do 3 parts to this. We've got 3 key exercises, and they are your emotional attachment or relationship with money. I'm then going to take you through one of my own tools that I invented called the Identity Quadrant. So you're going to help you to better understand what makes you tick, who you are as a person, because not all wealth strategies are created equal. So if you're trying to make money in a way that is not naturally suited to who you are as a person, you're going to find that an uphill struggle. It's going to be like swimming in treacle, for want of a better phrase. So that's that Identity Quadrant tool. The second tool is going to help you to understand a bit better about who you are, what you're great at, what you're passionate about. And then we're going to revisit an Ikigai model that I mentioned on Monday, which is really then taking those pieces and then building on them to work out, okay, how am I going to start to build a business structure where I can generate consistent wealth with some key thoughts, some key questions, which I ask myself on a regular basis, and I would recommend that you do too, or at least ask your own versions of that. So without further ado, without talking too much, let's start. We'll kick off. Moses, you want to put the slide up, and then I'll start talking through where we're at. So this is interactive. If you have random thoughts, type them in. If you have answers, type them in. At the end, we'll do a Q&A. This is your time, and if you want to interrupt me and ask me something, I'm cool with that too, okay? I know my stuff well enough. You're not going to put me off my stride, all right? Okay, wealth mindset. I've got a concept that I created how many years ago now? Probably 10 years ago, called the Gym of Greatness. So I believe that we all have greatness within us, but do you know what? We've got to go to work. Like, you can't just turn up at a gym and hope to get all muscly and lean or fit or whatever you want to do, lose weight. You've got to work at it. And the same is true of the brain. So that's why I got my little brain doing the old push-ups there. And then, you know, work with me on this. Everything we're going to do is simple. And the more you interact, it keeps it simple. I'm not going to say it's always going to be easy for you, but it will be simple if you stick with me. Okay, so let's create some wealth mindset together. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is talk about your relationship with money. A lot of people, when it comes to creating wealth, they want a push-button solution, a quick solution. They want results yesterday. But the reality is, over your whole lifetime, however long that is, you've been creating an emotional link with money. And if you don't have a positive relationship with money, or at worst, a neutral relationship with money, it doesn't matter how many strategies I give you, you will find a way to unconsciously sabotage them, because your brain is going to be wanting to push wealth, push money away. So you'll make me wrong, you'll make Moses wrong, you'll make the strategies wrong. The reality is it's actually a relationship with money that needs to work, not the other way around. So let's have a think about money. So as we're doing this, type in your answers to the comments, write them down on a piece of paper and a pen, on your phone, whatever you need to do, but interact. Don't just sit there thinking about the answer. Physically write it down, and it will go more into your unconscious. Okay, so if I say money is blank, what comes into your head? Money is blank. Do it for yourself. Then if you've got time, put it in the comment sheet. Money is what? So remember, from Monday, money was invented as a replacement for the bartering system. So I come along to the market, I give you some corn, you give me some pigs. I give you some grain, you give me some turnips. And obviously, if I didn't want what you had, it gets complicated. So you have to try and do three-way bartering. That's why money was created as a representation of value. So one of the answers to that might be money is value. Money is good. Money is bad. Whatever instinctively comes in, just type that in. Make a note for yourself, and if you want to type it into the box, then we'll just see what's coming up as well. So money is. Next question. How does money make you feel? How does money make you feel? So when you have money in your purse or your wallet, when someone pays you in your bank, you get money in, how does that make you feel? Topka's saying money is made hard. Okay. So with that, with that sort of belief, what else might show up, right? Is it always hard to make money? Money is paper, Cremena says. Money is paper. Or money can be coins, can be metal, right? How does money make you feel? Now, so digging into that a little bit more, money is cash. Money is cash we got coming through. Now, let's look at money specifically in a way. Rich people are. Rich people are. So don't overthink the questions. When I ask you that question, rich people are, what's the first thing that comes into your head? What's the first thing that comes into your head? Have you got negative reference about rich people? Have you got positive ones? Okay. I've got a very good friend of mine who, I won't name him, but he's an internet marketer, made millions. He uses his money to foster kids. So he uses a lot of his wealth now to focus his time and his money on fostering children, giving them the opportunities, a lot of opportunities that maybe he didn't have. Feeling like on holiday, Cremena says. Thank you, Cremena, for your input there. Now, of course, we're going to flip it the other way and going to go, poor people are. How do you feel about excited? Monica's excited about money. That's pretty cool, isn't it? To be excited. That would energize you and motivate you to do things. Rich people are intelligent, says Cremena. Poor people are. Now, it's interesting. Some people are poor and consistently poor, and they always have been, always are, and probably always will be. Some people become poor temporarily through circumstances. Now, if you have a wealthy mindset, there are numerous people, very rich people that at some point have gone bankrupt or their businesses have gone bust. but they come back. One of my own business mentor, Keith Cunningham, he had a wealth portfolio, probably about $200 million, and then he basically he played his cards wrong. He basically hit a financial crisis, had his money invested in projects that just went bad, and he lost it all. But because he had a wealthy mindset, he was able relatively quickly to rebuild that wealth, and actually is now worth more than that because he was able to create that. So poor people are struggling, poor people are comfortable, I'm seeing coming in. It's not a judgment of people that are poor, it's just like, what patterns do we notice in terms of when we don't have money? Poor people are strong because they have to be. They've actually, a lot of my friends when I lived back in another part of the UK, didn't have a lot of money. They were very, very good at budgeting, very, very good at using their money wisely. So some of those characteristics could be really useful for you as you are making more and more money. Poor people are not educated, maybe. Okay, so we're all making assumptions. None of these are right or wrong. Okay, having a lot of money means what? Is it useful? Is it not useful? Is it excessive? Is it good? Is it bad? What is having a lot of money? What does that mean to you? So you could take different examples. You could see some people that use a lot of money in a negative way. You might have an experience of that. But equally, you might reference, different people have different opinions about Bill Gates, for example. He's got a lot of money, he uses it in a particular way. You might think that's great and what he's doing for the world is fantastic with his money. Other people think that Bill Gates is controlling things. Okay, so what's your reference for having a lot of money? Flip it around. Not having enough money means what? Not having enough money means what? Now, times I said in the call on Monday that I've been very fortunate. Grew up in my mum and dad were both very much from working class families, very poor, didn't have a lot of money in the house. They both went to university and they both created a business after that. My mum became a teacher, actually. My dad created a business and created a lot of money. I'm just going to read this out from Dimitar because it's a good one. Hard times create strong men create good times. Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Nice. I like that, Dimitar. Very good. Very good. I like that. We got that on the video, so that's a really nice comment. Thank you for that. So my mum and dad created the wealth that they currently had. They were self-made, is one better phrase. So I've never really experienced not having any money. But what I have had over my time, and I said this on Monday, is I've experienced times when I've not had a lot of cash flow, when I've switched into new business. And that's hard. That's stressful. That keeps you awake at night. And where's the money going to come from? Cremena says having a lot of money means learning and studying a lot. So having a lot of money means I'm able to learn and study and grow. Now, that's a really, really smart use of excess money to invest in yourself and invest in your team. That is a very, very smart thing to do. Everything becomes easily accessible, says Monica. Love it. Love it. Okay, next question. Next question. So for me, not having enough money means stress. And that's the first thing that comes into my head. Difficulties, said Monica. I love it. I cannot make a lot of money because. This is where your stories are going to come out. Some of you in a good place, you might say, there's nothing there. But I cannot make a lot of money because I'm not educated, I'm not old enough, I don't have the right network, I don't have the right product yet, I don't have the right service yet. What is it that shows up for you there? I cannot make a lot of money because my parents never had a lot of money. My friends and family would think badly of me if I had a lot of money. I'd have to move away, move out of the area. My family would be after me for money. Imagine if you won the lottery, what would that mean? Not having enough money means fear for Cremena. Nice one. Okay, so let's flip around the I cannot make a lot of money to I can make a lot of money because. So this might be you tapping into times you've already made money. It might be your skills. It might be stuff that you know that you're brilliant at. It might be a project you're working on right now that you think is going to come good. It may be that you've got members of your family or people that you know in your peer group that are really good at making money and you can feel it coming too. So I cannot make a lot of money because, and I can make a lot of money because they're just stories at the end of the day. They're just stories that we have made up and then we look for evidence to make it true. So what's showing up for you in those two statements? I cannot make a lot of money because I can make a lot of money because. So just to give some credit at this point for some of these questions. So friend of mine, very good friend of mine, he actually married into the Anastasi family. And there's a guy called Mark Anastasi ran a course in 2012. And actually, some of these questions are way back then from 2012 when I actually spoke at one of Mark's events. Some really good questions that he got on board. And the other person I give him credit to in the last time we spoke. So I think when you use other people's information or you use pieces of it, you should refer to it. So again, a guy called Marcus Di Maria, who I mentioned on Monday, who I used to speak for. Some of the questions are somewhat similar to some of the ones he's got in his wealth creation masterclass that I used to run for him. So whether it's Mark or whether it's Marcus, it's really smart to use the best material of other people. But as a scientist, my background's in biology, it's always very important also to credit when you use people's work or have built things on the back of other people's work. Okay, I cannot make a lot of money because I can make a lot of money because, and also just notice during your day, during your week, during each month, how much time are you spending thinking about, I can't make money this month, or I don't know where my next money is coming from. Or in reverse, you might be thinking, gosh, I've got so much opportunity here, I wonder which one to choose. Because I can make so much money, which way am I going to go with this? It's just easy making money. So what stories are you telling yourself during your day, during your week, during your month? How are your parents with money? This is always an interesting one because obviously you grow up being around. So I've got really great references for money. So my mum and dad made the money themselves. So it's like, you know what, you've got to use your skills, use your abilities, you've got to work hard to create money. But also they really enjoy money. So particularly in their retirement, they've been doing all sorts of things, going off around the world, doing things, creating experiences for me and my children. So obviously we can't at the moment because of lockdown, but they have a very positive references and they pass that on to me around the ability to create money in a good way and with high values, high morals, and also but enjoy that money as well. It's not there to be kind of hoarded or kept. It's there to be enjoyed. How are your parents with money? Let's get some answers on that one. So how are your parents with money? Were they tight with money? Were they free spending with money? Were they good at making money? Were they good at saving money? Were they good at spending money? Were they responsible with money? Were they irresponsible with money? Just think about what your parents were like with money. And a final question on this is, having now considered all of those different things, let's go back to money is again, because then you know where the questioning has influenced your thought. Monica's saying, Commander said, I can't make money because I'm lazy. I can make money because I'm great. There we go. So there's two references. There's two paths there. Like, if I choose the lazy path, I'm not going to make money. But if I choose the I'm great path, I'll make money. Because I'm not having enough education about making money. There we go. So Monica's identified that learning more about this could be useful. So that's really, really useful. Just looking to see what else has come up on there before we move on. Yeah, I love, by the way, I'm going to emphasize it again. I really, really, really love the comment that Cremena made about when you've got excess money to invest it in you. That is, if I look at one of the things when I was looking at becoming a speaker for Marcus Di Maria, one of the things we did was we sat down and we looked at the money that we each of us had spent on our own education. And Marcus's was bigger than mine, but I was probably, including hotels and flights and everything, I was over £100,000. And I think the return on that for me is probably 5 to 10 times at least, just from that education alone. I think Marcus reckoned he was up to about 30 times what he'd learned, because he basically got a whole business that turns over millions of pounds a year on the back of what he'd learned. So that was very cool. Monica's saying her parents were good spenders, yeah? So that can be a good reference. That can be be careful reference, right? So that's an interesting one. So good. So relationship with money. So I'm going to leave that up there. Look, if you want to screenshot it now, or I'll sort out with Moses, I'll create a PDF of the questions. I regularly ask myself questions around money and wealth. I'm doing this probably about once a quarter, once every 3 months. You could easily do this every day. You could do it every week, every month, whatever suits you. If you know you need to build a better relationship with money, you need to ask yourself better questions about money. In fact, that's true of life in general, by the way. If you want a better quality of life, ask yourself better questions. And by that, I mean, not necessarily ones out loud, but just notice throughout the day, what are you focusing on? What questions you're asking yourself? And there might be some very old habits in there that are asking the questions. Ask yourself better questions. You'll create better results, okay? Money is an instrument or a tool, says Camille. I love that one. Very, very cool. Yes, it is. It's like, it's something you can utilize or use. Yeah. Any emotion you attach to money is just an emotion you've chosen to attach to money. Yeah. Cool. Good stuff. Right. I'm going to move on now. I'm going to move on to, so that's relationship with money. I'd strongly recommend you spend time on that in your own time. I'm going to move on to a tool now called the Identity Quadrant. It's my own tool. It's a tool that I created for my own brain to sort myself out. So I was like, well, what do I want to do next? My life, since I left investment banking in 2001, my life has very much been what it's all purpose driven. So it's like, what do I want to do? Why am I doing it? The meaning of life has become a lot important to me. And I think as you get to a point where your wealth's in a position where you have more choices, then you're probably going to choose having a more fulfilled life. Even if you're in a position where you're making a lot of money, a lot of the clients that I come across are people that want more meaning in life. And often then the more meaning they bring into their life, the more money they make. So money's making life better. I love that. I love that thought, Monica. That's a smart thing to do. Is like, how can I use money to make my life better? What I have learned, I said, very fortunate to be a millionaire when I was 30. So at a very young age, I was able to answer the question: does money make you happy? And my view on that is it can, but the pursuit of money and money alone is not going to make you happy. Money can be a very, very useful tool to give you more choice, so you can do more things and have more experiences that are going to aid your happiness. But I think happiness is an inner game, and money is like a companion or an assistant or a support to that. You becoming a millionaire or a multimillionaire in itself is not necessarily going to make you happy or not. It's probably going to magnify where you're at. Okay, right. So let's move on to this other tool called Identity Quadrant. So as I said, I created this for myself so I could really just understand my brain a bit better and what was important to me and what was not important to me. So I'm going to put up the basics of the 4 pieces of the quadrant, then we're going to go through some questions for each bit. And again, write them down for yourselves, type them into the box, and we'll see what shows up. So the top left box, first box, was me considering what do I like. Then I thought, well, you know what, it's kind of an okay starting point. But then what do I love? What am I passionate about? What really matters to me? So that was the first box I came up with when I was creating this identity quadrant. I'll just give you a bit of an insight into my mad brain. I regularly wake up at like 2 o'clock in the morning with content ideas, and I'll start scribbling away, and then hopefully an hour or 2 or 3 hours later, I'll go back to sleep again. So this was one that I woke up, I thought, oh, this would be interesting for me to try and map out a bit better about who I am, what is my identity. Because purpose, a lot of people go, well, I want to work out what my purpose in life is or what my why is. And often people struggle with that. And purpose and why really are driven from your identity. Purpose or why is an expression of your identity, of who you are. And it's much easier to make money or create wealth when you are aligned with who you are as a person. You're following your identity. You're not trying to pretend to be someone you're not. You're not trying to do a strategy that doesn't really represent who you are. You're not trying to run a business that is not fundamentally an expression of you as a person. You can do it. If you're a smart person, you can make a lot of money out of it. I made a lot of money out of investment banking. It wasn't even vaguely an expression of who I was as a person, but I made a lot of money. But there was a cost to it. There was like a friction, a challenge to it, which ultimately caused me problems with my health, in my case, health and relationships. Right. So when I started doing this exercise with other people, particularly teenagers, some people were struggling a little bit around, okay, I'm not really sure what should go into my love or passions box. So it's just like a stream of thought, basically. Cremana's put, I've never heard about the identity quadrant. There's a reason for that, Cremana, because I've made it up. It's a Rich Waterman tool. So there we go. So very few people in the world have heard about this, apart from my clients and some people that have been at my seminars. So that first box, the top left box, is literally just a list of things. Doesn't need to be sentences, just can be words, can be emotions, can be things, can be nature, walking, hiking, love, family, wildlife, speaking, coaching, my business, whatever it is. Just put it in the box, whatever you want to put in there, right? We're going to do some questions in a minute, though. So what I found was some people ran out of things in the top left box, and I'm particularly working with teenagers. I didn't get a lot in that first box. But if you ask a teenager, what do you hate, what do you dislike, what do you loathe? So for those that English is not their first language, loathe is an extreme hate or an extreme dislike, very, very strong dislike. Right? You ask a teenager that, what do you hate, what do you loathe, what's horrible, you sometimes get a lot more stuff. So you can start to write these down. Now, these are clues, right? So what we then consider is, what's the flip? What's the opposite of that? The things that I hate, could the opposite go into things that I love box? Like, for example, I hate repetition. I hate doing the same thing over and over and again. So the opposite of that is kind of variety or fun or like excitement, exciting new things. So that's definitely in my love box. So it's just a little clue. The stuff you hate, look at the opposite. Might be more things to put in your first box, okay? Don't worry, I'm going to give you time as we go through these to fill this out a bit more. Now, this third box is a little bit like your CV, but a bit more interesting. So these are like, what are your skills? What are you good at? And it could be like, I'm just really good with people. Or I'm really good at speaking. Or I'm really good at coaching. Or I'm really good at creating things. That's sort of things you wouldn't have on your CV. But equally, you might have, you know, I'm really good at Microsoft Office. Or I'm really good at IT. Or I'm really good at logistics. Or I'm really good at human resources. So it can be anything really. It's the kind of standard stuff you put on your CV, but also softer skills as well. Like I'm really good at understanding people, or I'm really good at encouraging people. And then to go along with that is achievements. And this is kind of like your brag list, really. I when I'm getting a bit more American, which comes from my time in Tony Robbins' environment, I call this my awesome list. It's like, what are the things you've done that's amazing? So I'll give you a few of mine, just an example. So I play a sport called croquet, and some of you won't even know what that sport is, but I'm a Welsh international at croquet, so that's pretty cool. I used to get paid to play football, table football. I was top 30 in the UK at that, right? I got all A's at O level, which are now GCSEs. I went to Oxford University. These are all things that I'm really proud of. I'm really pleased to talk about. I've got one of my achievements is I've got 4 amazing children, right? So just start thinking about, okay, what are your skills? This is the time not to be humble. I want you to write down in your box, because you're the only one seeing it, I want you to write down all stuff you're really good at, right? The final one is kind of building on that. So the top one's more emotional. The likes, loves, and passions, the dislikes, the hates, and lows. That's more of your emotional blueprint. The bottom bit is more about things that you are doing, things that you are being. So I'll put patterns in there. Patterns are, what are your patterns of success? What's your zone of genius? My Google Drive's popping up there trying to remind me of something. So, for example, things like me, like patterns of success for me is I'm really, really good at working with people. I'm very good at leading teams. That's definitely a pattern or a zone of genius. I'm really good at speaking, always was. Enjoyed it. Hopefully you agree listening to this. Obviously switched off.
I agree.
I'm very good at making complicated things simple. So I'm very good at sort of distilling something down into a simple concept that people can understand. Probably from my scientific background. I'm very good at helping people to implement things as opposed to just teaching them. And you might, another word that I use for this stuff is superpowers. I just love that term. I love the idea of everyone being a superhero. What's your superpower? Well, one of my superpowers is that I've got a very high level of empathy. So if I'm sitting with someone or I'm talking to someone on a Zoom call, I very, very quickly get a read on where they're at emotionally. And that really comes from years. Well, I think I've always naturally had it, but I think that comes from years of working in sort of coaching, personal development spaces, that I can just feel where people are at normally. They don't really need to tell me anything. So let's dig into all that a little bit more. We're going to look at these 4 quadrants a little bit more. Okay, so I just wanted to lay that out for you initially. So again, I'm going to ask you some questions. Write them down. If there's something you really want to mention, put it in the comments box, because we're really enjoying the interaction so far. I've really loved all the comments from Cremena and Monica, and we've had Dimitar, Totka. So yeah, it's really cool. Right, okay. So moving on. We're going to look at like, love, and passions. So what do you like? What do you love? What are you passionate about? What comes into mind? Just type in a little list as I'm going through this. Just type what your list is, what it is. So like mine would be, I love going for walks. I love my 2 dogs. I've got 2 Cocker Spaniels. I love my children. I love coaching. I love speaking. I love being in the countryside. I love my parents. I love my brother. So what comes out? I love helping people. I love being the difference. I'll talk about that in a second. Being the difference versus making a difference. I love just showing up and being there for people. So just stream of consciousness, just what's coming out for you when you go, what do you like, what do you love, what you're passionate about. So Carmena likes walking. I love the movement of walking. I find that very, very, very sort of, very empowering, right? Sorry, let me go back. Because I've gone too fast there, right? Love my husband. That's very cool. I'll make sure that's come up on the screen there, Carmena, so you can put that up. When you play the recording, you can show him that you put that in your comments, right? So that's a nice one. Yeah, loving your partner. Who else is important in your life? You know, my grandmother's not with me anymore. My mum's mother, she had tremendous influence on my life. One of the most loving people, in fact, the most loving person I've ever met in my life, right? So tremendous influence on me, even though she's not here. Lily loves dancing. Tremendous passion, energy. I love people. So now you can even see, like now, we're talking about creating wealth. Like, so Monica, there's a clue, right? Making sure you're doing work, business, creating things that involve people. If you find you're in a position where you're not having that people contact, your enjoyment, your fulfillment level will drop. I guarantee it, right? Because you and I are the same in that regard, right? So keep processing that, because what we're then going to do is we're going to go to the flip side, the dark side, as it were. We're going to go to the dislike, hate, loathe side. So we're going to find stuff that we hate and use that to generate more stuff that we love. Yeah. So what do you dislike? What do you hate? What do you loathe? Loathe is strong dislike for those that have just joined us, right? So what is strong? Like for me, like I hate people that are not authentic. I hate people that are not honest. So what's the flip? Well, I love people that are transparent. I love people that are powerfully vulnerable. So one of the things I talk about a lot is when I went through a divorce in 2001, I then went into another relationship. When that relationship ended, I then went into quite a long period of depression, probably 6 to 9 months of depression. And I talk about that now. I talk about it for 2 reasons. One of which is so that other people that are going through that can relate and see that there's hope beyond depression. But it also, for me, is a level of transparency and honesty. Is like, okay, well, that is something that's happened in my life. It's not always been a bed of roses. It's not always been everything was great, right? The reality was when I became a millionaire at 30, I gave quite a chunk of that away when I went through a divorce, right? So for me, I hate people that hide things, that only show you enough of the truth to influence you. I think it's really important, particularly as a speaker like I'm doing right now, or someone running a workshop, that there is an honesty on the table so that enables you to dig into the stuff that you need to talk about, right? So and one of the talks that I did once for a friend of mine, Ben Allsop, he's got a group called Shape Your Destiny. I did a talk which was what I don't want you to know about me. And it was like all the stuff that in the past I've been ashamed of. Because the really important thing is when you can talk to that, you can talk to the dark side, you can then find the light, right? So, for example, Carmena says hate Satan. So like the opposite of Satan obviously would be God or Jesus or whatever your religious belief is. So then, Carmena, you've got a clue there in terms of like what does the opposite of Satan represent to you? Because that's probably more stuff for your light, love and passion box, right? Monica dislikes negative people, right? So she want to be, again, because you love people, Monica, make sure you've got a peer group of positive people, uplifting people. Hate lazy people, hate stubbornness. So what might be the opposite of stubborn be? Open-minded, flexible. So it's probably traits that you love in yourself as well, but also traits you love to see in other people. Right? Okay. So now we've got those first 2 boxes, what I love, what I'm passionate about. We've got the hate, dislike, loathe box, and we can use that to feed more into that first box, yeah? We can then go and park that other second box somewhere where it doesn't, we don't need to look at it very often, right? That's second box, identity quadrant. So then we're using the opposite, as I said. Right, third box. Skills and achievements. So this is, what are you great at? What are some of the things you would put on your CV? Like, what are you really proud of doing? Like, I can think of little things. Like when we were about 16, one of the things that we did in school was we created these little companies. It's called Young Enterprise is the name of it. And I got voted to be the first managing director in the first period of running it. I was voted to be that. I'm like, it's a long time ago. It's like 34 years ago, but I still remember that. That was a pretty cool thing, right? I'm very proud of coaching my son's school's team when he was like about 12 years old. That was a really cool experience. So just type in just things you're proud of, like what are your top skills and achievements. So let's look at some questions around that. What skills do you have? That might be skills that you put on your CV or your resume. It might be skills that are softer than that. It might be, do you know what, I'm a really good friend, or I'm a really good listener. Or I'm very good at reading people's emotions, or I'm really good at getting things done, or I'm really good at managing people. So some might be on your CV, some might not be on your CV, right? Okay, and then what have you achieved? So what are your proudest moments in life? What comes to mind? Like for me, like I'm not in the Tony Robbins environment anymore because I decided to move off and do my own thing, but becoming a trainer for Tony Robbins and I think I was the first, when I was promoted to senior trainer, I was the only senior trainer in mainland UK. One of about, at that time, about 6 in the world. Super proud of that because that was me being promoted for who I was rather than what I was doing necessarily. So that was a very cool achievement. Corinne is really good about creating ideas and she said making true. So that's great. Exactly. It's exactly what we're looking for, Corinne. Very good. Right. What have you achieved? What are you proud of? I'm really proud of being a dad. I'm really proud to know this young man on the call with me tonight, Moses in the Locker. Why? Because of how he shows up. Great energy, great authenticity, great values. Really wants to make a difference to the world. I'm very proud to be his coach. Super proud. Yeah. It's who you associate with, yeah? So just think about that, skills and achievements more. Just whatever comes up, write it down. If you want to put some in the comments box, go ahead and do that too. And as more's coming out as I talk, just keep typing away. Don't worry about the fact that we might have moved on to something else. Keep typing away what's coming up for you, yeah? That's box 3 of the identity quadrant. Now we're going to do box 4. And for me, don't like to have a favorite box because the others will get jealous. But I love this box, right? So, what are your patterns of success? By that I mean, what is constantly showing up in your life? Because it's normally something you're really good at and you find it really easy. So, for example, any project that I do, I nearly always end up having a leadership position in it. And that's sometimes when I'm trying to step back and encourage others to do it. I often still become the leader just because it's just the way it seems to work out, yeah? Great. So Monica's putting in, good at motivating people. She's good at business. She's got a business management diploma. Proud to be a mother, right? So sometimes we kind of push some other thing down a little bit. But I guarantee you, because you're also good with people, Monica, that those skills and that feeling of being a great mother, that actually could be things that you are using in your business or your job already or could do down the line, right? So big clues there, like, because not everyone's like would mention proud of being a mum. Like I am. I'm very proud of being a dad because I know what that means. Because like to be a dad, I have to really appreciate the skills, abilities, and qualities of my children, and I encourage that, and I encourage them to be them. So that's really helpful being a business leader or being a manager in business as well. So what do you find easy? I'm naturally be a leader. I'm naturally really attracted to speaking, helping, coaching people. Complex things simple, as I said before. I like creating new things. I don't necessarily am strong as implementing them, but definitely creativity, new things I'm very strong at. What do you think your zone of genius is? And some people kind of pull back a little bit from that. It's like, oh, I'm not a genius. Well, maybe you are, and you just haven't given yourself credit for it. It's often your genius is the stuff that you find so easy, you don't even give yourself credit for it. So things that you're just naturally good at, right? So I was lucky, this weird sport croquet that we play in the UK, I picked up a mallet. I was pretty good at it just starting off. Same with other sports I did. There are some that I'm naturally good at and some that I'm awful at. Like golf is hard work for me. I'm all right at it, but I have to work hard at it. It's not a zone of genius, right? How I think in golf probably is, because like I'm really good at how to manage emotions, control emotions, drive emotions. So like, what's your zone of genius? What are you absolutely amazing at? And then if you really want to push the boat a little bit, get my body in the best energy form. That's a great answer, Carmina. Yeah. And Lily says, I'm great at talking to kids. I'm very good at being flexible when needed, where you would be talking to children, right? So that's very smart. So again, little clues. I don't know whether that's something, a business that you're in or think about going into. That is a skill. That is a zone of genius. A lot of adults are not great at talking to kids at all. They try and talk to them like from a superior position. So that's good. Monica's really good at growth. She's really good at communicating with people, and she's really good at business. Yeah, so superpowers, right? Oh, so let me just go back one, just to stay there for a minute, right? I'm deliberately using language like extraordinary, greatness, and superpowers because I want you to dig into those areas of what you're at. Because the reason I'm saying that is because when you're playing from zone of genius superpowers, business, wealth creation, money just becomes easy, because the big part of you being successful in business or creating wealth is you knowing, having that internal knowing that you're great at something, that you're amazing at something, and what you are doing is using those powers. And if you're doing something that doesn't engage those on a regular basis, it will become a bit of a struggle, or it can become a bit of a struggle. Okay, so you might think, oh, he's gone a bit off tangent here. We were talking about money before, now we're talking about superpowers. The two are very, very strongly linked. Well, I know I'm a great coach. I know I'm a great speaker. I know I'm great at producing really world-class content. And I know it, I feel it. And it's just my opinion, right? But I've done that so many times. I've seen so much evidence of that being true, that then I know it's my superpower. I know it's my zone of genius. I feel happy operating there. I feel happy offering people value from there. And I feel happy taking money to help people in these areas because I know that I'm good and I know it will help them. Make sense, yeah? Topka's got a great answer for this one, and it's so true as well, because I know her. I'm great at finding people's talents. Now, what a skill that is, because so then if you're like, well, I'm not totally sure what my zone of genius is, I'm not totally sure what my superpowers are, or my patterns of success are, you need to go and talk to Topka, because she'll help you find them. So that's a big, big skill, because, like, don't get me wrong, I've been digging into this stuff for 15 years. Sorry. Started in February 2006. I went to my first Tony Robbins event. So I've done this a lot for myself, and I know some stuff now. At the start, I didn't know stuff. I knew I was pretty smart. I knew I got good academic success, but I didn't really know myself. Monica's great at entertaining people. Do you know what, Monica? The highest paid people in the world are entertainers, whether it's sports people, TV stars, film stars, musicians, whatever. Great skill to have. Great skill to have. This is a great talent. Blessed are these people, says Mick. Good answer, Mick. I like that one. Right. We're now going to take that. So wherever you've got to with that, so we've got the 4 squares, what your passions and your loves, your hates and dislikes, using to create more passions and loves, skills and achievements, and then superpowers, zone of genius, patterns of success. We're going to take that and we're going to apply that to this concept called Ikigai, which is a Japanese model. And we're going to think a little bit more about how can I start to turn this into business opportunities, wealth creation opportunities, okay? There's a structure to creating wealth. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. I'm not going to say it's immediate, because it very rarely is. But if you constantly apply these things to your business, you will be moving in the right direction. It's only then a matter of time. People get very impatient because you probably spent, a lot of people I speak to have been spending days, weeks, months, years not doing it right. So as soon as they think, oh, there's a better way of doing it, they want the results now, which is fine. Like, okay, that's good. And it's ambitious. But the reality is you now got to spend days, weeks, months doing it the right way. And it will pay off. The key is not to go after money itself. The key is to make sure you put in place habit structures and strategies that will inevitably generate wealth. Okay? Going chasing money is not the way it works, because you can't go and grab it. Money represents value. So if you generate value, and it's easy to generate value from stuff that we're great at, you will get rewarded for it. Okay. Right. So we're going to move into Ikigai. Ikigai is not my tool. It's a Japanese tool. It's really around this concept of creating a sort of fulfilled life, which is the combination of 4 circles. What I've done is I called it Ikigai Plus, because I can think of a better name for it. But I've taken Ikigai and I've just added a few more bits to it. So then you can consider, how does this apply to business and how does identity quadrant stuff come in, meet with Ikigai to really just build some really solid foundations for wealth creation. So we've got the 4 squares there. I generally do them in a particular order because I find it works better for people. So I generally start with the love square. We then talk about the what are you good at square. Now you see where love interacts with what you're good at, there's a passion there generally for it, okay? These words are interchangeable. It doesn't really matter what you use, but just know there are overlaps. So with the work that I do as a coach and a speaker, what I love and what I'm good at tend to be very, very highly overlapped. They are slightly separate circles, but I tend to be really good at the stuff that I love. And then what the world needs or what is their demand for is normally the next one I go to. And then I look at, okay, now what can we get paid for? Out of all those things, if we can find something that we love and we're good at it, so we're getting results for people, the world needs it, because sometimes we'll invent stuff that we think is really cool, but no one else does. That's not good. And then particularly right now where we've got, we've had an economic downturn last year, quite understandably, but there are people still paying for stuff. If we can combine all 4 of those, we end up in this place called Ikigai, which is I'm doing what I love. I'm really good at it and helping people. I'm helping people that need it and they're paying for it. And that's Ikigai. That's like, oh, this is good. This is amazing. Am I really getting paid for this? I often come off coaching calls. Regularly come off calls with Moses. Go, am I getting paid for this? It's like, it's really cool. Because I'm adding massive value to my clients. And yeah, it's like the most fun thing to do. And I spend probably 2 or 3 hours a day maximum coaching. And then I just go off and create content and contemplate life and so on and so forth. So you don't have to, while there is a certain amount of hard work required, it's not like you can't enjoy life while creating wealth. It's just a question of the choices you want to make. What's your natural approach? Some people love the Gary Vaynerchuk, hustle, grind, go hard, keep going, bang, 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 bang. Probably when I was in my 20s, I'd have been all in for that. When I'm just turned 50, I'm like, you know what? I'd rather create money in a more of a flow-based way. I'd rather enjoy life while creating money. Right, so we're going to look at these 4 circles, and we're going to relate that back to the identity quadrant we've just done. So all that work you've just done now pays off, because it means you can have some answers for the Ikigai thing as well. Yeah, but Ikigai, if I was going to advise you to use one structure to think about how do I need to build my business, but also keep on reviewing my business, I would recommend using Ikigai. Okay, so we'll look at the first circle, which is what do you love circle. Okay, so what do you love? We're going back to identity quadrant questions, which is what do you like, what do you love, what you're passionate about, same ones, and then we can add in a few more. So a few more, so if you want to type in some answers to these or write them down for yourself at the very least. So it might necessarily be what do you love, it might be what do you feel aligned with, what's that kind of, this feels right. Because some of you are going to be a bit more sort of feeling empathic people, not all of you, but it kind of feels right. What areas of my business that I've been considering, or what new businesses I've been thinking about, it just kind of feels right, or it's just like it's coming into my head a lot and it's like, oh yeah, I like that, but maybe you haven't done anything about it yet. You feel aligned with it, and that's one of the ways that you make decisions, and go with that. So just think about what shows up with the feeling space. What excites you? Or actually, you ask this question to yourself, what excites me? What would you have to do for you not to want to go to bed at night, and then as soon as you wake up, you're going, great, I'm awake again, I can start working on this thing. And don't get me wrong, I'm not always in that space myself. But there are certain projects, certain times in projects where I've gone, my goodness me, I don't want to sleep. I know I've got to. By the way, whether you're a member of the 4 a.m. club or you get up at 10 o'clock in the morning, make sure you get proper sleep, because this stuff does not work if you're sleep deprived. You can get away with it for a certain time if you've got a project deadline looming or you've got some sort of crisis to sort out, but do not run your life on sleep deprivation. That will stuff the whole thing up, right? What do you feel aligned with? What excites you? What would you do if money wasn't an issue? So if you said, right, okay, you've suddenly just inherited £100 million or £400 million, £1 billion, whatever the number is, you didn't have to work anymore, what would you do? What would you do? So it's interesting, right? So I effectively retired when I was 31. And it doesn't mean I've had businesses and jobs since then, right? I worked in an investment bank for about 9 months because there was a fun project. I wanted to work on it, wanted to help my mate out. I created several businesses, but I'm never actually really going to properly retire. In other words, because I love coaching and speaking so much, it's very, very likely that I'll carry on doing that for the rest of my life. I might do less of it as I get older, but I personally am not going to retire from that, because if I wasn't getting paid for speaking and coaching, I would still do it. Okay, so what would that be for you? What would that be for you? So let's get some engagement going again. I'm going to demand that now on the screen. So you've already answered the what do you like, what do you love, what you're passionate about. So what are some answers around what do you feel aligned with, or what kind of feels right? What excites you? And what would you do if money wasn't an issue? Right? Let's just wait. I'm not going to move on until we get one answer. So there we go. There's a bit of pressure on there for you. So let's get some engagement going. What shows up in that area? Because that's really important. Because when things get difficult in life, or hard in life, or things are a bit heavy, if you've got that fuel, that energy of doing things that you really just love doing, that will get you through an awful lot of stuff, an awful lot of challenges. It's also the thing that's going to help you to stand out from the crowd, because people will feel that energy, feel that passion, feel that excitement. I think I might have a problem with the feed at the moment. I know I've broken a bit of technology. Anyway, I'm going to carry on, but keep typing away as I move on, okay? Right, so related to that, I remember those of you who were on Monday, there's an internal element to this inside, and there's an external element to that. So when we're looking at passion and what do you love, internal. So of the things that you love doing, how often are you connecting with those? How often are you doing those? Like if you love meditation, how often are you doing that? Tocca's saying making life-changing events. So like, yeah, so the things that you've been doing in Bulgaria, particularly recent, Tocca, where you're putting on the events and the masterminds and all these different things, and the stuff you did back when you were in the UK as well, is like, that's really impactful things. And so that's powerful. So how often are you doing it in the year? How often do you want to do it in the year? You probably want to do a life-changing event every day. That'd be quite full on, right? But like meditation, for example, I love doing meditation. I don't do meditation every day because I just love doing it. I love coaching. I do coaching pretty much every day. Generally not on weekends, but every weekday I pretty much always do coaching. Speaking, I like speaking about 2-3 times a month. So I do it that often, right? Helping people, says Tocca. So like, is that you can help someone every day. You can help someone every hour if you wanted to. So how often do you connect with that feeling? Because as you connect with it, you nurture it and you grow it, right? And then externally, this is really important. Particularly in modern, you've got so many opportunities now with Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube and Twitter and Instagram, and now they've got Clubhouse. You've got so many ways of reaching people, getting out there. How do you express your passion for what you do? How do you let people know how much you love doing what you do? So this is one of my ways of doing it, is me talking about it. So Lily says, what excites me is everything related to moving my body. I love and I'm passionate about all sports. So we're doing sports, we're learning languages. So, you know, if I was thinking about anything to do with that, I want to be going talking to Lily about this, because I feel her excitement. I'm actually getting goosebumps, like my hair's coming up my arms, just because of the type of language that Lily's used there, right? So your competitive advantage, your unique selling point out there, given there's so many ways to talk to people now, when they didn't used to be. Literally, you could post some stuff, or you could put up adverts in the old days, ring people. Your way to stand out is by you expressing your passion for what you do, for what you love. And a big part of that is energy. This is the first time I ever noticed Moses in an audience at one of my seminars. I noticed his energy. It was like I could not look away from him. It's like, wow, that guy's got amazing energy. And it's probably also language as well, the type of language, type of words that you use. Tocca's put in, what she loves doing is giving people the best value as possible. Yeah. And that is very much true of what Tocca and Moses do, is like, you know what, we want you to get the highest quality we can, and we're going to give it to you for the best value that we can as well. So that way, as many people can utilize that that stuff. Yeah. How could you do it even more? How could you express your passion even more? Could you do more video? Could you speak differently on video? Could you write blogs with more juicy words in it? Could you have an audio or a podcast where maybe you're interviewing someone else that's got as much passion as you have, and you come together and it creates this amazing thing? What could you do to express your passion more? So that's the passion circle in Ikigai. Yeah? What do I love? Right? What do I love? Now we're going to move down to the circle, which is what are you good at? What are your skills? Now, if you remember from the identity quadrant, we've got what skills do you have? What have you achieved? What are you proud of? Now, it's probably pretty smart to look at the clues in there and go, when I'm either in my job or if I'm running a business, I'm looking to create wealth, to utilize as many of those skills as possible in the business that you're doing. So, for example, I am a really good coach, and I've developed some very, very good strategies, some world-class strategies for building coaching businesses. So my first way of doing that was to actually mentor people one-to-one on how to build their coaching business. What I then did was I recorded a course with my cousin, who's also a successful coach. I started mentoring, then he's created his own stuff as well. So we created a course to teach people how to do that. I've done this one-to-one again, but I'm now going to create courses around coaching skill. How can you become a better coach? I'm really good at speaking, and I'm really, really good at analysing speakers and giving them insights about how to become better speakers. And up to now, I've only ever done that one-to-one. But now I can create a course or a mastermind teaching people how to become better speakers. So you can see, not only am I using my skills and talents that I'm genuinely feel like I'm world class at, there's also kind of sometimes a natural development, maybe from more hands-on to more course-based stuff and so on and so forth. So just think about what skills, abilities, what achievements have you got that maybe you're not using yet? And also think about the progression of the service or product as well. How's that where's the easiest place for you to start and then start to get value out there and then start to progress it? Okay. So again, Totka, thank you for your input on this. So Totka is, and it's absolutely true, she's world class and really skilled at organizing events, planning things, and being a strategist, right? So, and I know that particularly because I've talked to Moses about it, but also I've seen Totka in action, and it's like, well, do you know what? If I wanted any of those done, I'm going to her, because she owns that skill. Now, here's the key, right? We can also bring in there the whole patterns of success piece that you did, the fourth quadrant. What do you find easy? What is your zone of genius? What are your superpowers? So, like, what are you just absolutely amazing at? Okay. And interestingly, one of the things that I realized is sometimes actually you need to spend more time in the space to find it. So I used to run these events for coaches to help them to create better businesses. And what I realized was the live workshops, the live experiences, what they actually really were getting out of it was their life experience stuff, like they exist, why are they on this planet? So actually what I realized was my superpower was actually a bit not unlike what Totka was talking about earlier on, connecting people to their greatness. So even though I'm helping people to build coaching businesses, even though I'm helping them to become better speakers or whatever it may be, really what my superpower is that whole life expression, life fulfillment, finding your talents and expressing your talents piece. So the speaking coaching is actually somewhat irrelevant. And why is that important to me? Why is that superpower? Because I've gone on that journey myself and I'm still going on it, right? It's like, why am I on this planet? What is my life about? What do I want to be remembered for? What impact do I want to create? What legacy do I want to leave? So obviously, as I'm going on my own journey for that, I love helping other people go on that journey too. It's one of the reasons why I'm doing this Q&A and this workshop today, right? So what are your superpowers? Now, one final question. So you've done all that before in your identity grid. What are you extraordinary at? I know that is a very, very, very carefully chosen word. What are you extraordinary at? What are you just literally blow the socks off pretty much anyone else there because you're so good at it? And the clue usually is that you're taking it for granted. So what are you extraordinary at? Because people will pay for extraordinary. It's very hard to be Amazon, right? Amazon have dominated the market and being a generalist, you can get lots of things different places. most people use the internet now to find niche specialists. Like I want to have someone that can help me speak and sell from stage rather than I just want to be a great speaker. I want someone that can teach me how to coach executives from the top 500 companies in the US. So people are going way, way, way more specific, inch wide, mile deep. So find what you're extraordinary at and just focus on that. Don't go broad. Okay. Right. Internal and external for this one. So get better at what you're great at. You know, I'm naturally a good speaker. I have worked my arse off at speaking. I've done speaking gig after speaking gig. I've practiced. I've reviewed. I've done more of it. Get better at what you're great at. Get better at what you're extraordinary at. It is very, very possible. I look back at some of my early speaking gigs and I kind of wince a little bit, but you know what? You've got to start somewhere. You just got to keep going, right? Own your skill. Like, do not play it down. Do not dumb it down. Own your skill, right? Do not be humble about it. You're frigging world class at a few things. Own that, because if you want to create wealth, you want to create money, owning who you are and what you're amazing at, and just letting people know I can help you in this area, that's generally going to be good enough. Yeah, we need some strategies and things like that, but that's fundamentally what you're at. Now, externally, what I found works really well is expressing your skills and service. So help other people. Helping other people with your skills is often the best way to engage and to grow your skills, to grow your superpowers. Okay. You don't need to boast or brag. One of the reasons that often many of you are pulling back from business or pulling back from wealth creation is because you're seeing a lot of speakers and marketers out there that are constantly telling people how good they are, that they are, you know, I'm amazing at this, I'm amazing at that, and you find it a bit of a turn off, quite frankly. It's like, well, I don't want to be like that. Good, you shouldn't want to be like that. You don't have to be like that, okay? You don't have to boast or brag about how amazing you are to create a lot of wealth. What you need to do is to start to create very subtle evidence you're really good at it, so much so that you don't need to tell anyone you're great at it, okay? So that's the difference, right? You are never going to, if you're like me and are fundamentally a service-based person that just wants to do a great job, and it's really nice when people say nice things about you afterwards, you are never going to succeed by trying to go down these traditional marketing routes where you just tell people that you're amazing at this and they suck and they need to do your course so they can get better. You're never going to do it because it just feels so misaligned with who you are as a person, okay? So let your clients do the talking, engage with people, work with them. When you do a great job, just ask them if they could give you a testimonial or a referral or a case study, or if they could just let others know about it. Let them do the work for you, yeah? Okay? Third circle, let's look at the time. Yeah, we're good. Right, don't want to drag this on for too long. What does the world need? So we've worked out what we love. We've worked out what we're great at. We've now got to think about how do we bring that to the universe? How do we interface that with the real world? Because there might be some stuff we're really good at that no one needs at the moment. It might be they meet down the line. It might mean they never need it. We need to consider, if we're going to build a business and get paid for it, we need to start to consider needs. So it's just a few bullet points for you to consider as I'm going through it again. Just type in some comments as we go along. So what's showing up for you, right? It's really, really, really important if you want to make a really, really strong business and create wealth. Is all the best entrepreneurs are brilliant at it, whether it's Richard Branson, whether it's Elon Musk, whether it's Jeff Bezos, whoever it is, right? And I don't really care what you think about those people, but they're really good at this stuff. Listen to what people want and need. And if you don't have someone who is really good at business, that is almost like a business idol of yours that you look up to, find someone that's built a business and you just absolutely love them for the fact they built that business, right? Because the only way they could have done that is by listening to what people want and need. So often want is more of an emotional thing. Needs often underneath the surface. You must sell to what people want, deliver that, and then also deliver them what you need, and they'll stay for life. Because if you can meet both those, what they're expressing they want, that's what they'll buy from that space. If you give them what they need as well, they will stay for life. They'll become a raving fan of yours, right? So listen. Ask, and ask again what people need. Keep asking them. Polls, surveys, videos asking questions, whatever it is, just keep asking people, what do they need? One of my favorite selling techniques when I used to do some speaking for Marcus Di Maria was, I go, right, so that's the end of this course. If we could design another course, what would you want? What would you want? And people would start firing all these things, and they go, oh, I would like this masterminding thing. Okay, right. Okay, let me stop there. Right, hands up who wants a mastermind. Boom. Right, if enough people in the audience said, okay, so if we created a mastermind, would you do it? Yes. Okay, if we created a mastermind at this price, would you do it? Yes. Great. Who's in? That's pretty much how I'd sell new stuff. I just create something on stage based on what people said they want. And I think it's just a great technique because they just say, oh, God, this is cool. He's actually asking us what we want as opposed to telling us what he's got to offer. 2 reasons why people have wants. They either want to create pleasure, they want to get to an outcome. That's quite a strong force. It's a very, very good long-term force to continuing meeting people's needs and wants towards pleasure. Often the reason why people shift early and quickly is because they want to avoid pain. Sometimes both. So just remember there's 2 forces of leverage going on here. There's the avoiding pain one, and there's a pulling towards pleasure one. Yeah. So just think about what you're offering and what are you meeting in terms of, and it might be you're doing both. If you're doing both, you've got 2 very strong forces going on there. So how can you help them avoid pain? How can you help them create pleasure or win a prize or whatever terminology you want to use? So once you've identified, so you've got an idea about what you're good at, what you love, and you're talking to the market and they're saying, yeah, I've got these problems, Rich, so I want to avoid this pain. I want to create this pleasure. You go, great. Then I need to cycle back and think, okay, what out of my skills and passion, things that I'm good at, world class at, and my passion, what fits in with that? Because what you don't want to do is try and put a square peg in a round hole, we say in the UK. You need to genuinely think, based on what I've seen out there, what is it that I could do that's strongly aligned with things that I'm great at and strongly aligned with what I'm passionate about, and come back with that so what I understand is this is going on. Well, interestingly, one of the things that I do is this. And if there isn't anything that you are passionate about or skilled at, let them know about someone else that is, or just let them know that that's not the sort of thing that you do. Okay, so it must be very clear about what's in your game and what's not in your game. Okay, don't try and be a chameleon and change color and fit in with everyone. That will at best produce you an average business and average wealth. It doesn't work. You've got to be amazing at creating solutions to a specific need that you are skilled at and are passionate about. Deliver what they want first, what I said, and then make sure you're also meeting what their needs. This requires a deeper understanding of where they're at, maybe even an understanding beyond where they know they're at, but always meet their wants first and then meet their needs. Right. Internal, external. Internally, feeling, how could I meet this need? What do I need? What do I need? The reason I ask that is, what do I need in terms of that's going to help me to create a business or solution that meets their needs? But also, you might be your ideal customer. When I first started out in coaching, I wanted to coach people like me. So I was thinking, well, what do I need? Well, I want to find more meaning and more purpose. Great. Okay, let me just tell people that's what I'm really good at. Because I'm going on my own journey, so I want it. So I'm going to be really, really excited about doing that. So I was effectively my own customer. I just need to find more people like me. So there's a little clue sometimes. Not always, but often people build businesses on things that they are actually meeting their own needs. Externally, ask lots and lots of questions. Assume nothing about your clients. Classic Keith Cunningham phrase this. Find out what people want. Go and get it. Give it to them. Find out what people want. You need to ask questions. Go and get it. It's the how, not the what. It's how you're doing it, not what you're doing normally. Give it to them. Find a way of delivering it. Great customer experience. Great quality. Great service. You're going to win. Be interested. Be interested in your clients. Be in love with your clients. Like, they are not numbers going through a funnel. They are individual people. How would you want to be treated? How do they want to be treated? Okay. Be helpful. If you just constantly go out and go and help people, eventually you'll find enough of the right people who say, Thank you, Rich. How can I work with you? Just be helpful. Okay, always wins. Final one. Home straight. Keep tapping. I'm getting 101% from Monica. I'm getting awesome from Louis. Good. Home straight. Finish strong. Keep interacting. Keep typing the comments in. What can you be paid for? Up to this point, you do not have a business because you are not getting paid money. You have found something that you love, that you're really good at, and you are meeting people's needs. Now you've got to ask for money. Okay? So, good. Thank you for the summary, Mick. That's great. Listen, ask, show the pain, provide them options for pleasure. Win-win. Love it. Great summary. Thank you very much. Right. What can you be paid for? Here's some good questions around that. What value do people put on this need? Because sometimes people have a need, but they don't really value it. So if I can show someone how to live their life's purpose and how to be more fulfilled and feel more pleasure for the rest of their lives, for however many thousands of days that is, that might have some value. But for people that don't give a stuff about meaning and purpose, it has no value. So they're not my clients, right? If I, this glass, which you can see in front of you, if I want to have a drink, if I want to have a beer, particularly because beer tastes great out of a glass, that's got value to me. But equally, do you know what? If I got I don't know, a shot of vodka or a sherry or something, that glass doesn't have a lot of value to me because it's too big. Okay? So think about the needs that they're expressing. Look for the ones that are valuable. So that normally value is you are moving away from an extreme pain, or you're moving them towards an extreme pleasure, or both. That's when people really start to value things. Here's a big one. Are people fully connected to the need, or are you trying to educate them? So, for example, you might have a new health product. Let's say it's some sort of wheatgrass that you can carry around with you all day, and you add water, and it's the same as fresh wheatgrass, right? Unless you can demonstrate a clear value to them that relates strongly to where they're at now, if you try and educate them or teach them into this is why you need this portable wheatgrass, they're not going to buy. You can't educate people into buying. What you've got to do is you have to relate how your thing, your product or service, meets their needs. You can't tell them, look, you're here, this is what you want, but actually what I'm going to sell to is what you need. By educating you, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You can't make people smarter so you can sell to them. You've got to meet them where they are at and then lead them, okay? It might be a follow-on product, but don't think that you can teach people and come from the I'm smarter than you place, and so I can educate you and then you will buy. It has never worked, in my opinion, ever worked. You've got to meet people where they are at, give them what they want, then deliver what they need, and then it all works. Are they able to pay? Stop talking to people that can't pay. Stop buying into their stories. Stop getting your value dragged down. Stop playing at the lowest standards they are at. They are not your clients. If they are not easily able or willing to pay, the people that really want to pay will find a way to pay. And if they can't, they will very honestly say, Rich, I'm not in a position to pay yet. I'm going to go away and create that money, and I'll see you in 6 months and I will pay you. And I have had a handful of people that have done that, but I mean a handful, and that's in 14 years of doing this, right? So some people are in temporary situations where they've got to try and sell a house or an asset or whatever it may be, or they've had a big tax bill or something weird has happened in their business. That can happen, but you know it, you can feel it when the inability to pay is temporary. Apart from that, only work with people that can pay, because otherwise you're just going to end up becoming a charity. Here's the deal. Build the wealth, build the cash, build an amazing business, employ people, then you're helping them and their families. Build your own wealth so you're in a place of choice. Then you can start doing stuff for charity, pro bonos, foundations. You can do that as you're growing, by the way. Don't start with that, because you will unwittingly get your value dragged down. That stuff where you're doing pro bono work or charity work has to come from a place where you're in good shape, and you're in a good shape so you want to pass it on and help other people. Don't do it at the start, because you will sabotage yourself, okay? You must put on your own oxygen mask first. You must put that on first. Sounds a bit harsh, but again, that's from personal experience of working with people that have not got that concept. Okay, got to meet their needs. Yeah. Are they the ones who will pay for it? So just be a little bit careful. If you're creating products and services for, say, children or schools or other things where they aren't directly the people that are paying, you must have a benefits-based conversation or a pain or pleasure-based conversation with the person who is actually paying for it. You've obviously got to engage the people that are going to be your clients because they want to become raving fans, so that they pester their mum and dad. Oh, mum, I want this, or dad, I want this, or schools saying we must have this so the government will pay for it. You must have conversations with the decision makers who actually hold the purse strings or in control of the finances. So just be careful about creating businesses where you're not speaking, the product is not for the person that's paying. Have you got to a point where it's an absolute no-brainer? In other words, it's a very, very easy decision this person to say, basically, I would be crazy not to buy this. That doesn't mean you're necessarily making it cheap, because please don't. Please, that is not the first place to go to discount to reduce your price. I'll say that again. The first place to go is not to discount to reduce your price. That is not the problem if you're not selling something. The problem is probably not enough people know about what you're doing, and maybe you haven't just stacked the value enough. So keep your price the same, just add value. And the key is to add something that's very, very valuable for your client, but probably actually doesn't cost you that much. So I could do recordings of all these videos and things like that. I could create a package and put that out to people, and I wouldn't have to charge massive money for it because I've already done it already. Massive value for people looking at it. Very little cost to me because I've already put the work in, right? Add value, add value, add value, add value. Make it a no-brainer. Oh, I'm not sure it's not shit. What else could I add? What else could I add? We're great to have a Facebook group where we could talk to other people. Yeah, okay, we'll add that in, right? What else can we add? Can we have recordings of the calls? No problem, we'll add that in. Could we get some experts in to talk to us about different things? Yeah, we can add that in. No, very little cost to me, right? Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Can we have some masterminds? Yeah, great. What we'll do is we'll let you organize yourself into small groups. You can have masterminds together in that group. No cost to me. Do that in one of my coaching groups, by the way. They self-organize into little pods. Will they come back for more? Do they love it so much that, you know, whenever they use this thing, depending on what it is, of course, do they want to come back for more? Do they want to come back for more? The easiest sale is a resale. The easiest way for me to carry on growing my coaching business is for people to stay as clients because they love it. So a big part of this is what experience am I going to give them? What customer service am I going to give them? What quality am I going to give them? Because the resale is the easiest sale. My mentor Keith Cunningham said, how big would your business be if every customer you've ever had stayed as a customer? Massive, right? Massive. Will your customers tell others about it? The easiest sale is a referral or a recommendation because people buy from people they trust. So if their best mate says, by the way, this thing's amazing, they're probably going to buy it. It's the easiest sale you'll ever have. So again, treat your customers with the utmost respect, give them the most value you possibly can, overserve, over-deliver. Don't sabotage your business doing it, of course. Make people rave about what you do to the point where everyone's talking about it and everyone wants in. Okay, so what can you be paid for? Looking at external, internal. Have you sold your thing to yourself? Do you think that what you're offering is amazing? Would you buy it? Would you snatch someone's hand off to have it? Have your potential clients sold it themselves? In other words, have you given them enough experience of it? Have you marketed it well enough? Have you talked about the pain and pleasure enough where before maybe you've even told them the price, they're like, I want this. So one of the things I do in my coaching business is I give people an experience of coaching. Not everyone, but the right type of client, I'll give them an experience of my coaching. I won't charge them for that because I'm investing my time to show them what that coaching looks like, and they're investing their time to experience it. And most of my clients, in fact, if not all, have already made the decision they want to work with me before I tell them the price. Make sense? Yeah. External. Do not discount. I'll say this again. If you want to sell more things, the last thing you should consider is price. Just look at value, 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 value. If you want to reduce the price, you need to do a value exchange, which would be, okay, can you give me 10 referrals? Or can you give me a client referral? Or can you give me a testimonial? Or I'm using you as a beta test of my program, so I'm going to produce the price. But at the end, I'd like to capture what you thought of it, or I'd like to incorporate your feedback, or I'd like to use some of the coaching videos or interviews that we did together as part of the program going forward. So if you're going to give them less on price, make sure you get something back in return, because otherwise people just think you're basically making up the price, which of course we are in many ways. But reducing the price for no reason is the most stupid thing I see people do in business. Don't do it. The sale is not your self-worth. So in other words, if someone says no, they're not saying no to you, they're saying no to your thing. What can you learn from that? You can learn a lot from those. Don't take it personally. If it's not right, be prepared to walk away. You've got to know what you're worth and what your offering is worth. Be prepared to walk away if it's not right. Needy is creepy. So like wanting the sale too badly is not good, because then you're thinking about yourself, not the client. And finally, final thought, high quality clients always make selling easy. If you've got someone that is really aware of who they are, has money, understands their problems, understands what they need. I've sold products for tens of thousands of pounds on the back of an hour conversation when they haven't even known me prior to that, because they're a high quality client. They knew what they want. They looked at what I was doing and went, yeah, I want that. It's done. There's no need for a long sales process. Okay. You get less refunds. They stay longer. They more willingly pay more. They more like to talk about you to their friends, family, and colleagues who are also, fun enough, high quality clients. And so it spirals upwards rather than downwards. That was Ikigai. That was Wealth Mindset with Rich Waterman. I said to Moses I'd come on in under an hour and a half, but we have got Q&A now. So any questions you've got now, let me know. Let me know. I'll be on for as long as you want. Or equally, if you put stuff in the comments afterwards, I'll come back in and answer the questions as well. Yeah, Lily, beta version is a great way to do things at a lower price point, but you must have a deal with people who are doing the beta that they are going to give you feedback, and you have to tell them what form it's going to be in, whether you want it to be an interview, whether you're going to use some interaction with them in the main course. Be clear about what beta involves, so people understand they're getting a lower price potentially, not always. Sometimes they just get more access to you in the beta. It's a really good way of doing things. And breathe. Right. Questions. You got to have some questions at the end of that, or maybe I'm just, your heads are spinning at the moment. But what we're going to do, this will go up as a recording. I will get the questions for you as a PDF as well. Here's my thing, right? If you love tonight, you can check out what I do. My name's Rich Waterman. You just type it in. More importantly, if you loved what we did tonight, so I'm going to do the selling for Moses, because I want to tell you how great him and Topka are. So what they are creating is this E2E platform. I'm the first expert on. So the current offer is £17 a month, I believe. That is just like a stupid price, really. That's actually suspiciously low, but it's a good price because it is an irresistible offer. £17 a month. You can listen to an expert every single week and then get a follow-up workshop and Q&A. Can you imagine what it'd be like having a year's worth of stuff like this? Probably people even better than me, I much hate to admit it, providing content and follow-up for £17 a month. That's like £4 a month for £17. Stupid money. And the reason that I'm telling you to do it is this. If you've got £17, you're going to be creating a great peer group. You'll be mixing with people who want to grow like you want to grow. You'll be mixing with experts. You're having close contact with experts. So again, you'll be part of their peer group as well. Like, so I'm taking a note of all these names that are interacting with me tonight. If you ever drop me a message and I recognize your name, that's a good thing for you, right? And above all, Moses and Topka, like their biggest drive is this high value, high integrity network. So they got your best interests at heart. So you're always going to get really high value from that as well. But I joined for the community, joined for the peer group. Right. Box is saying very much. Cool. Thanks, Mick. Appreciate great speech. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate that, my friend. It's always good to get feedback. Thank you, Monica. I enjoyed this broadcast. It was awesome. I'm going out there and win some customers. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Like, that is the greatest gift you can give me, is go out, use one thing from what I've taught you tonight, go and create some more wealth, some more success, serve some more people, help some more people, come back and let me know what you did. Come back and let you know, yeah? That's the greatest gift you could give me, because I love doing this stuff. But I really love doing this stuff when people act on it and stuff happens for them and they're going out and helping the world. Yeah, cool. Thanks for putting that up, Moses. Go on, Moses. You can speak now.
Yeah. All right. So let's raise all our hands and give a big hand to Rich and for what he has said with us on Monday, and especially going in depth in today. I mean, I don't know about you, but I took lots of notes. I mean, Rich is my coach, and we have talked about these things for all these years, but I always find something new to add on, to write a note, and as a checkpoint, because what a coach does, he keeps you accountable. So anytime you listen something, and Rich, the first 6 months of coaching, he was always telling me, upgrade your peer group, your peer group, your peer group, your peer group. And one time I came and said, but why all our coaching, they're always talking about this? Now I get to know it even better, and I get so much value from that. So if you want to have a peer group of people where you can share and learn together, signing up for the membership is amazing. And because it's my birthday and February is my month, I have made it so easy for you that you don't need to think at all about it. Just need to click and sign. It's a monthly membership, or you can take advantage of the yearly one. And I can tell you, it's way easy and possible for you. And not only that, it's also necessary for you, because every Monday you can have a guest, and every Thursday with that guest, it's only closed for a certain number of people. You can go in depth and you can discover and get more and more and more insight if you want to make this 2021 a year where you are an expert in your own life, where you are a leader in your own life, okay? So make sure to have a check on that. We had already people who on Monday signed up, so don't be late, because take advantage of this February, because I'm quite generous in February, okay? Yeah. So that's it, Rich. I just want to say thank you so much. If anybody has any question, by the way, Rich is an expert in creating wealth, financially, emotionally, and time. So we have just seen one part of the wealth creation. We are going to have him shortly back again on Monday, but then next time on Thursday is going to be only for the people who are part of the closed group. So take advantage right now, and we will see you back again, Rich. Okay, I'm talking about another topic because you are our resident DJ. The music, and that's amazing. And anything else you want to just leave us with one tip on how to create wealth? The final one, the cherry on the cake.
Go over everything that I've said tonight, and pick one thing and do it really well. And then when you're doing that really well, pick another thing. But the key to everything that I've said tonight is implementation. So know that you can all do it. Don't be in too big a rush, but be consistent. So pick one thing and do that, and stack another, and you will get there. The reason that people fail is they listen to, the reason people fail is they show up to this stuff, and the reason a lot of people fail is they don't show up to this stuff at all. So you, by showing up tonight, put yourself up here. So by doing that, just pick one thing, do that, and then just keep going. Now, the advantage of being in this community of course is you can then say, oh, this worked or this didn't work. Can I add some help? How do I change this? How do I do that? That's a smart thing to be part of a peer group, because it makes it a lot easier. But yeah, pick one thing, do it well. That's my number one tip.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And we would like to acknowledge Lucia. Lucia took immediate action and she registered for the closed group. Amazing, Lucia. So we will see you. We will see you therein, and get ready, because tomorrow I'm going to announce the new guest on Monday and next Thursday. And stay tuned, because we have a parterre of so many great experts, because we believe one thing. We believe that you are an expert, And as coaches, we are going to provide for you the experts that can help you go further and faster. My name is Moses, and it was my privilege to host Rich Waterman and to have you as our guest and to come into your house. We're on a mission. We are all on a mission to make sure you live the outstanding life that you deserve to live. So thank you so much for watched us. We all love you, and thank you, Rich, for your time. It was really precious. And to all of you, see you on Monday, and stay tuned because we are going to provide for you the best experts in the world. Thank you so much. Have an amazing rest of the evening and good night. Ciao.
Bye.